Yeah, no, Kyler Murray. Yeah, Arizona's probably going to go off Murray, right?
You're right, right.
But if you're Malik Willis, why go to Las Vegas? If they still have Geno Smith, why go to Las Vegas?
Yeah, but if yeah, for Malik Willis, there's he can go anywhere, right? He can
Right,
go to Minnesota,
exactly.
he can go
Wait,
any of those places. But my
Malik
my
Willis
point is
can wait and go where he thinks he has the best chance to play.
my point in saying that though is it's not about Malik Willis. It's about getting yourself, if you're Vegas, get yourself a quality quarterback because Geno Smith is not it,
Oh,
right?
got it, got it. So you're saying if they get Malik Willis, Geno's out.
Yeah.
Gotcha,
If they
gotcha, gotcha,
if they
gotcha,
get
gotcha.
Malik Willis or they bring somebody else in, Geno's out.
Gotcha.
You don't need to go ahead and draft Mendoza as the first pick.
Yeah, yeah.
Trade out of the pick, get yourself more picks down the line so that you have choices and you can build your team.
Mm.
Because with that number one draft pick, you can get maybe what a couple of firsts,
Yeah,
some
he can.
seconds,
Yeah, he should be able
thirds.
to get 3 picks in the top 100. Yeah,
Exactly. Find yourself a quality quarterback this year, bring that person in, trade out of the first pick. Because Mendoza, in my opinion, is not he's not it.
he's not that dude.
He's not he's
He's
not
not
that
him.
good.
He's not
He's not
him.
he's not him. Now he might have the character of him,
Right, right.
right? But when you look at the team that they played on, he had a really great team and was had some great supporting cast, right?
A
In
bunch of
fact, you
mature
might
guys.
you might even look at it and say that he was part of the supporting cast.
Yeah.
He wasn't him. So
I
that
will say this: when you look just at his numbers, they're not eye popping, but the guy made difference making plays, man.
he
He
did.
he made difference making plays,
Yeah, but
and he
there's
led
been
some comebacks, and he made difference making plays against high quality teams. It wasn't all against. Uh, know how crazy this was? I was gonna say he wasn't making those plays against Indiana because my first thought was to think of a low level Big Ten team, but I'm talking about Indiana, right?
you went to Indiana.
Well, he isn't making those plays against Montana State, right? Against South Dakota, he was making those plays against Ohio State, against Oregon, against teams that appeared in the college football playoff. So there I don't know what his ceiling is, but I think he has a pretty high floor too, though.
Okay, so there
And
have
then
been
I was going to say, if Vegas goes that route, then why not just keep Geno?
this is true. It's true. Um, I just don't know how much Gino has left, though. That that's the but
But
it's another way of getting to what I'm talking about. You could keep Gino and trade out of that first round draft pick because if you
yeah,
or that
yeah,
first
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, if
yeah
you're
you can keep Gino,
yeah,
trade out of the first draft pick, right,
yeah,
and be back there next year.
exactly. See, that's my point. That was really I don't mean to do this to you, Gino, but my point was if you get Malik Willis and he messes around and gets you 7 or 8 wins, then you're not back in the top 10 again next year, right?
Right, right. But
If
when we
you
get
stay with Gino and there's a better court, maybe Dante Moore comes out next year, right? Maybe you're in the discussion to have an opportunity to get Dante Moore if you roll with Gino.
right, and even though Mendoza has had a really good um, college quarterback career,
Uh-huh.
a good
Yep.
college
Yep.
quarterback, not
Yep.
great, because there have been others that have been better. When you think about like a
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel,
Yeah.
um, if you think about Tim Tebow,
Yep.
those two, when they hit the NFL, it didn't pan out. I mean, it
Reality
did,
set in.
yeah, it did a little bit for Tebow, but eventually his game couldn't he couldn't keep up with what the NFL demanded of a NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
So again, when we're talking about Mendoza, I feel like, we're talking about this off camera, but there is a graphic that clearly points out that Shador college numbers are better than Mendoza's.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that.
And so when you look at where Shador was drafted and where Mendoza's
Mendoza
projected
was
to
drafted.
go,
Hmm.
you're like, where is the disconnect?
The
What?
disconnect is that Mendoza had the one magical season and won a Heisman Trophy, right?
Right,
Had Shador, and he probably was completely out of eligibility. There's no doubt in my mind that if Shador had another year of eligibility and he had just taken the NIL money and had gone to another school to get another year of development, he could have put himself in the same situation where he would have been good enough to lead a team to a national championship and be in the discussion for Heisman Trophy. He wouldn't have done that because he would have continued to play for his dad, though. But like I said, I believe he could have done that as well. So yeah,
right,
it is that's where the disconnect is because people have seen Mendoza play in high caliber games and win. You just haven't seen it from Shador. And Shador probably thought he was going to be drafted higher than he was, which was
right,
why he didn't go back to school, right?
right, right,
Uh,
right,
so
right.
and I get why he did, right?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
I think that's where the disconnect is. Some of the physical numbers, Mendoza has a little bit better. He looks the part more than Shador does. Uh,
mhm.
he seems to be a little bit better athlete than Shador. Um,
But that Indiana season, as great as it was a team season. That defense was, incredible, knockout defense. And when we talk about Mendoza as a quarterback, he's got some good numbers, but again, he was part of a supporting cast. He wasn't the reason we were all getting excited. I mean, there was a couple drives where there's a couple of signature plays for him,
yes,
right? But at the same time, somebody had to catch that ball and get those 2 feet down and get that 1 foot down,
yes.
right? We're
But
talking
the
about
throw
that,
has to get there. Every time the throw's got to get there.
right? Every time the
And
throw's got to get there, but I'm talking about that specific play at the back of the end zone. The ball is
that's a great play by the receiver. That is
exactly
absolutely a great play by the receiver. And my son and I used to have this discussion all the time. I always say this. You'll appreciate this. Great throw. My dad used to say quarterback and receiver go together like soup and sandwich. Right? You
Mhm.
can't have one without the other.
Right,
But I always say the great pass play is because of the receiver.
right,
The quarterback is really, as much as people talk about the accuracy of the quarterback, he really is just throwing to an area. He's
right.
throwing to where he thinks the receiver is going to be. It is up to the receiver to track the football. And
Yeah,
some are just better at it than others going to get the football.
right,
So yeah,
right,
I get you there. And he's got to come down with it, right?
right.
The beautiful throw means nothing if the guy doesn't come down with it, right?
Correct,
So yeah,
correct.
I hear you. I hear
So
you.
then when we're talking about
But then
Vegas,
I'll go to the JJ Watt. Oh, and rest in peace, Rondale Moore, man. I don't know if you heard
oh
the
yeah,
Rondale Moore pass, man, but there was a clip somebody posted of his rookie year with the Cardinals, and JJ Watt's on the team,
yeah.
and he dropped a pass in practice, and he's standing there on the sideline, and JJ comes over to him because he can just see he's upset. He said, "Look like you're upset." And he said, "Yeah, I dropped the ball." JJ said, "Oh, that's bad. That's what you're paid to do, right?" It's like, so guys catching the football, man, that's what you're paid to do, bro. So
Right.
But that was, I don't want to minimize that guy catching the football. It's his
Yeah,
job, but that was a great catch in the backfield
exactly.
zone in that game. But there were a couple of those moments. Had that been the only one, I would say, yeah, I agree with you. But
Yeah,
multiple times, I think there were three this season, game winning drives that he led the team on. And not everybody is able to do that. So
right. But
that's where the difference in the projection as a prospect comes in because he's still just a prospect.
he's still just a prospect, and we saw JJ McCarthy have some quality throws last season in the NFL.
See, that's where I thought when you first started with this, that's where I thought you were going, right? I was
Right.
sure when you started talking about Mendoza, you were going to bring up McCarthy, right? You
But
got there. It took you a minute to get there.
what I
And
really
I
but
hear
what
you. And I hear
yeah,
what you're saying. And that is so true, right? That's
yep,
why it's hard to project that
right.
position.
That's why it's hard to project, but I want to get back to Vegas and what Vegas might want to do, like we're talking about, trading out of the number one pick, getting yourself some more players because you had mentioned you need receivers to throw to.
Yes.
Gino Smith is not a bad quarterback, but who is he throwing to?
Who is he throwing the ball to? They got tight ends, but they don't have anybody
Right.
out
They don't
wide.
have anybody out wide. So do yourself a favor. Don't draft Mendoza. Trade out of the pick. Get yourself some receivers.
Get some
Get
receivers,
yourself
get some linemen and
some
receivers.
interior.
That's
That's what I was going to say. Get yourself some interior players. Get yourself some
yeah.
receivers. Help Gino out.
Yes.
You might be back in the same position next year, but you've added players. You
Now
need
you'll be
players.
bringing
You
a
need more
quarterback.
than one guy,
Absolutely, absolutely. Now
right?
you'll be bringing a quarterback into a team with some structure and would have the ability to be competitive week in and week out. Yes, I that
Exactly.
I agree with.
Because
That I agree.
because we both know if you can get to the quarterback, it doesn't matter how good that quarterback is.
Doesn't matter at all.
They're not built for, it's not a system that's built for success
No,
if you
no,
can't protect your quarterback.
absolutely. Yeah. Doesn't matter how
That's
good your scheme is. None of that matters if you cannot protect your quarterback.
none of it matters. None of it matters. So I don't care if he's a Heisman Trophy winner and he threw
Yes,
for 10,000 yards and
yes.
all this kind of stuff. You don't have interior that can protect him.
You don't have the infrastructure for a young quarterback. No, you don't.
And if he can get the ball out quick enough, who's he throwing it to?
He's got tight ends. I give him
He's
that.
got
But
tight ends,
the tight
but
ends are always in the middle of the field where all the traffic is. That
right.
leads to tips and overthrows. And you know what happens to those?
And you're going up against other professional players, right? And you talk
Yeah,
about this all the time. They get paid too,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
You got coaching staffs, defensive coaching staffs that know that you only have this quality person that you can throw to, and they're going to try to hit them on the slant or whatever.
Yep.
They're going to cloud that area. They're
Yep.
going to be there.
Yep.
So again, when you look back at this season, what is one of the reasons that Caleb Williams is so good this year? Because Chicago went out and they got interior linemen.
Went out and built up the interior line. Yes.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, if you're Vegas, you might want to look at this and be like, yeah, I'm glad we got this pick, but let's go ahead and get three or four players out of this.
I agree with you. I think they should do that too. Trade down, get some linemen. You drafted Genty last year. You already have tight ends.
Right.
You're
Right.
already going with 12 personnel, right?
Yep.
So hey, let's bang it out. Get some more linemen, run the football. Get
Yep.
a receiver you can throw the ball deep to. And
Yeah.
you
And
will
just
improve your
and
team. Because you're right, if you got just tight ends, like I said, they're in the middle of the field.
right.
Those balls will get, like you said, those professional defenders on the other side, they're going to be tipping that ball if all you're doing is throwing it in the middle of the field, right?
Right.
And those
And
always lead to turnovers. So yeah, you're asking for trouble if you're always throwing in the middle of the field.
Now, was Vegas head coach on the staff when Gino was in Seattle?
Yeah. No, no,
No,
no, he
he
wasn't.
wasn't. He wasn't. But you can go back and you can look at what that team looked like,
Yes,
how it was built, and the success that Gino had
yes,
because of how the team was built. And you can replicate that.
yes. I agree. I agree.
Yeah, so that's my 2 cents on it.
All right, brother. Hey, I like that little bonus segment there, kicking it around about NFL quarterbacks. But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with you, man. They need to do something different because I'm not completely sold on Mendoza either.
right.
But seldom am I, man. There have been few I've said, yeah, I think that Andrew Luck might have been the last. Trying to think recently. Oh, Burrow. I was down with, but yeah, man, I think a lot of these guys just get overdrafted all the time. I thought Justin Herbert got drafted about where he should have been. Looking back, yeah, maybe he should have been the number one overall pick. But again, you're talking about a prospect. And he
Right.
was one of those guys who was a lot like Jared Goff, kind of too California cool. People weren't sure if he was had enough dog in him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has proven that he is that dude.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, when you look back at some of those picks, yeah.
Yeah.
And the Heisman Trophy winners and
And
yeah,
how many people did Russell Wilson get drafted, right?
right.
Kyler Murray. Oh, he's a little guy. He can do it just like Russell. Baker.
Kyler
Yeah, he can
Murray,
be just
Baker
like Russell,
Mayfield,
right?
those
Uh,
two,
my
actually
man
those two
down
are
in
like,
Carolina. What's his name in Carolina?
oh, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Hey, these little dudes gonna get hurt, man. Russell was special. That's all you need to know.
right. And all three of those guys are Heisman Trophy winners,
All three of them, yes,
right?
yes,
So
all
again, when you
three,
talk about Russ getting people hired, exactly. I mean, it's
yes,
if you're an executive, you got to look at it and be like, okay, yes, they were successful in college,
yes,
but the way that the NFL is set up, and yes, we are moving to a more um, dual threat quarterback,
right,
but that's what you need to be looking for. You're not looking for these little guys.
right, right, right.
You're and Mendoza is not a little guy, but he's kind of a throwback quarterback. He's a
Uh,
pocket guy.
he's a pocket guy.
That currently is not working in the NFL.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
you've got to have some move. You got to have some movement. You got to have
right.
feet. You got to be nice with your feet.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll get into it
Yeah,
with
we'll
the
get into that down the
combines
road as
coming
we
and all
get.
that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
I know he's
we
not
didn't get
throwing at the
into
combine.
we didn't get into the combine talk, man, because I don't get into the underwear Olympics anymore,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. But that's the other thing is like he's not throwing at the combine,
And
right?
I've never
And
liked
that
quarterbacks who don't throw at the combine, and I've never
but
liked it.
that's it's a similar um situation last year with Shador. He didn't throw at the combine,
It
right?
always makes me nervous when a guy doesn't want to throw at the combine. That
Yeah,
always makes me nervous because the competitors like oh, I can't think of my man's name that Tennessee drafted a few years ago. His name eludes me, but when he went to the combine, he said they asked him if he was throwing. He said, "Yeah, I'm throwing. I got a cannon. I want to show it off."
right, 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 right. Yeah,
Hey,
for
why,
some
why,
for
why
some of
don't
the
you want to show off your throwing skill?
right. And I think for some of them it makes sense to do that, and you know you
The
can
only
move
ones
up.
that I don't think, well, yeah, it's debatable. Well, I take that back because a lot of teams say they don't even pay attention to the combine.
Yeah,
Uh, in which case, why wouldn't a guy throw, right?
right, right.
The
But
scouts want to see it, even if the coaches may not. The scouts want to see it, and so they
right,
can provide information about throwing motions and the fluidity of your throw and can you make all the throws. And when guys are afraid to or don't want to show that, it concerns me. I always go back to my man Calvin Johnson, who didn't go to the combine prepared to run.
yeah,
And people started asking, "Why aren't you running? Why aren't you running?" And he said he thought about it, like, man, I already know I'm the fastest one out here. And he's like, give me some shoes.
Right,
Somebody gave him some shoes. He went out. Yeah, he was the fastest guy at the combine.
right,
Like,
right.
just because he's a competitor, right?
Exactly.
So that's why I
Exactly.
don't understand why guys